share a quick presentation. Allow me just a second for that. Okay. And I would simply like, in my, let's say, in my quality of the scientific coordinator for this social AI part of the Human AI Net, this broad project about human-centered AI, I would simply like to tell a few words why the social dimension of AI is emerging with such a strong take recently. And the point is that there are emerging increasingly complex socio-technical systems made of interacting people, algorithms, machine, that make very clear that we need to better study the social dimension of this hybrid systems. And because we have very evident examples around us, the mobility system with travelers helped in their decision making by smart assistants, or the public discourse and in general the markets of the social networks, where the diffusion of opinion and as well as the financial and economic decision are increasingly shaped by recommendation algorithms and influenced by personalized suggestions. So what's the point here? What's the key issue, in my opinion? The point is that we have devised these tools in this first 2 decades of the 20th century in a way that they assist individuals in making individually intelligent or optimal choices. Like, for instance, finding the best route to my destination in the traffic, or finding best products or most interesting contents or most interesting peers to connect to for me, for my profile, for what is I like most or for what I resemble most. And with a kind of implicit assumption that a crowd of intelligent people made even more intelligent by machine and algorithms is going to be intelligent. And this is unfortunately is not the case. Actually, we have many examples where a combination, a hybrid system of supposedly individually intelligent agents are collectively stupid and are not going the direction we would like to have. One example is for sure traffic, right? Of course, navigation systems are giving us individual advices that from the point of view of the individual driver are completely meaningful, make sense, are interesting, and in most cases they are, but they can also create a very complex situation if too many people are somehow nudged to go in a certain direction, for instance, to avoid a congestion somewhere, to create an even worse congestion somewhere else, or simply to systematically increase the traffic on certain roads and artificially instead segregate other parts of the city that are not advised to go for any specific reason, with potential problems in increasing risk, increasing congestions on certain roads, and creating some forms of segregation in other parts of the cities. Another example, of course, is the public discourse, right? The increasing polarization that we observe on the public sphere, on the media ecosystem, and on the social media ecosystem in particular. This is, of course, something that it's genuinely due to the confirmation bias that the humans have, right? The fact that we actually like to be exposed to contents and peers that are like us, that are like-minded. But the point is that if we, on top of this system, we also put mechanisms that reinforce our confirmation bias, provide suggestions that go in the direction of what we like most, we run the risk of creating even stronger bubbles, even stronger echo chambers and possible radicalization path for users. It is amazing how we have models explaining that algorithmic bias of the platforms that follows this conformity idea can even bring polarization and segregation of ideas in cases where the crowd would reach a consensus otherwise. So totally artificial. But still, we need to understand better this kind of phenomena in reality, and to understand how polarization works. And for markets and networks, we know that from complex system science, from the social sciences, we know that there is a tendency of networks to develop hubs, right? To develop a very unequal distribution of, for instance, the links that gets to the different nodes in a freely evolving network, because there is a form of, let's say, emergent properties in these networks, such that nodes with more links have more ability to attract new links, providing very skewed scale-free distribution, where a few hubs are able to attract most of the resources in the system. And this, of course, is a kind of metaphor for what happens in the economic markets, in the social, what happens to popularity in social networks or social media, telling us that if we provide, again, mechanisms that are artificially increasing this mechanism, we really run the risk of increasing inequality, of fostering larger and stronger monopolies and concentrating power, popularity, and resources in a few hands. So this is to say that the agenda, the scientific agenda that we have in front of us, is actually how to shape AI mechanism in a direction that, instead of going against us, it actually helps us, not only at individual level, but also at a societal level, to pursue objectives that we strive for. How can we devise mechanisms that are able to push us towards sustainability, environmental sustainability, towards diversity and pluralism rather than polarization, to better justice and equality, and of course also a better care of common goods, because all these kind of examples I gave you today, like the traffic examples, are essentially coordination problems on top of a common good, which is the common road network and the transportation infrastructure. So essentially, how we can devise some gentler technology that can help us to find a richer, actually, human dimension, a more social aware human dimension, a better balance between individual and collective needs, a better balance between what we perceive as personal freedom and the freedom of our fellow citizens. This is essentially the key observation for today's conversation. How can we shape the agenda of, from a multidisciplinary point of view, of AI and society? What I really would like that we have in the next 2.5 hours is a collective intelligence exercise toward trying to shape what are the technical research questions of social AI from different angles. We have not only AI experts with us, we also have network scientists, complexity science experts. We have social scientists, socioeconomic scientists. We would like somehow, what I really would like is that we try to be today an intelligent crowd, aiming building on this diversity of viewpoints to come up with some idea how to advance this area. The organization of the conversation is that now we have 4 fantastic fire starters. We don't have fire women or firemen, but we have actually the real fire starters, burning people that I really hope will challenge all of us with intellectual provocation from different angles. We have Sandy Pentland for MIT, one of the creator of Media Lab, a thinker, not only a tremendously impactful AI scientist. We have Laura Sartori, a sociologist that has a lot of things to tell us around the social implications of technologies and AI in particular. We have Stuart Russell, professor at UC Berkeley, mythical professor of artificial intelligence, the author of the standard textbook of the field, and the director of the Human Compatible AI Lab at Berkeley. And we have Mona Sloan, a researcher at NYU Responsible AI Institute, a leading international figure around the social impact of AI and digital technologies, with a focus on inequality and design, value-sensitive design of technology in society. So we will stay together with this 4 fire-starters until 5. And then we will move in 4 breakout sessions from 5 to 6 p.m. You see the title that were selected are this 4: bias, inequality, polarization, and social good. Please spread after the plenary session in this 4 for an hour or so. Leave 10 minutes at the end before 6, before we meet again at 6 all together for a short restitution session where the mentors and rapporteurs for the 4 breakouts will update us on the discussion that has happened in the 4 breakouts. So this is essentially what I wanted to say. Thanks a lot to all the participants to this exercise. Thanks to the people who helped me organize this: Chiara Boldrini, Letizia Milli, Laura Sartori. Thanks to the projects, to the twin projects of Human AI that are supporting this initiative. This is what I wanted to say. And it is now really my pleasure to leave the floor to the first fire starter, Sandy Penton, Alex Sandy Penton.